Just look at this image. This is the sort of nonsense that Africans in Kenya love to obsess. When you look at this image, you can see it's an image of a grown African woman wearing ballet clothes. This is what they're really pushing in Kenya. In fact, if you go to very many schools or academies, as they love to call themselves, you'll see that they offer dance called ballet dance and European dance. They do not offer African dance. Like, everything is designed to look down upon African culture and to usher the child out of African culture. So when you look at this advertisement, you can see it's by a place called Dance Kenya, right? And you can see underneath, they have an artistic director, a Mzungu, assistant director, Mzungu, and more Mzungu. So you can see it's the Mzungu who is in control over the culture. That the African men in Kenya are so pathetic that they would allow a foreigner to come and teach their children foreign culture. And I really mean this. I really mean this. When men of a nation become slaves, they tend not to defend their nation or themselves or their culture or their history or their anything. And this is a fundamental difference between African men and non-African men. You will not find Indians in India or Chinese in China or Japanese in Japan obsessing and allowing the Mzungu to come and have a total takeover of the culture. How do you allow your enemy to be the teacher of your children? What do you think they're going to train your children to become? Even more fake. So you can see that clearly this girl right here is now a fake Mzungu. And on the other side, just so I mention it, you'll find Africans training their children to become fake Arabs, putting on the Arab dress, and by the time they are done, they are so brainwashed that if you ask them, who are you, they'll tell you they're an Arab. So if you ask this chick, who are you, she'll begin to give you stupid stories of the way she's a Mzungu. So, and this is the false consciousness and the mental illness that afflicts modern day Africans in 2024. And this distraction, because it is a distraction, while your children and your people are doing this sort of thing, they are not doing other things such as developing their country. And it really does make a difference how the young population is brought up. If they're brought up to love their country, they will develop their country. If they're brought up to despise their country and to despise themselves, they'll never develop it. And that's why people wonder why there's so much corruption in African countries, because Africans genuinely do not like Africa. Kenyans genuinely do not like Kenya. All of them talk about going to heaven. They call European countries Maju, which in English translates into the heavenlies. I want you to think about that. That's the term that they use. And so this obsession with being a fake Mzungu, it's too much now. It is literally too much. And you can see it's taking over everywhere. And they're also saying that, all this, the way they're pushing it in a school, where when you look at the location, they're saying it's Breban Gitanga Theatre. That is a school. Okay? So all these things are centered around education. It's called the miseducation of the African. Now you'd think if you have a government that had any kind of basic common sense, they would disallow this, but they don't, because for the last 60 years, ever since the 1960s, it's the coconuts, it's the sellout element of the elite that rules Kenya. It's the Freemasons, those sort of people who have secret allegiances to the British and the Americans that have been in charge of Kenya, which is what makes this politically possible and politically acceptable. This is very shameful.